Hey guys, how's it going? Lagbro here. So, we're just a few days away from 3.8 Blight League in Path of Exile, and the patch notes were just released. So, I'm gonna go over what I think is the big winners after reading the patch notes now, and also like small losers. I don't see any big losers this league, other than builds that can't really handle like standing still and clearing multiple lanes in the tower defense. So first off, I think miners are going to be great. A few reasons why the mine auras. All the mines have different auras that do different stuff if you stack them up. So for example, Stormblast Mine increases your the damage taken by monsters up to 150%. And that's from all sources. So if you're in a party and your friend stacks up enough mines to give you 150% increased damage taken, you're also gonna get that. So that's a huge buff. And we might even see some like mine support maybe for some bossing or something like that. Skitter bots is the second point. From what we heard before, they were both gonna detonate and rearm the mines, but in the patch note it says they're only detonating, so I'm not sure about that. They might just detonate and they removed the rearming thing because it was too powerful, but we'll see about that. And one of the skitter bots are gonna shock the monsters and one is gonna shill the monsters, so that's some huge both damage and crowd control, slowing with shilling, so that's really good. Detonation chain is the next thing. The more mines you have out, the bigger the AoE or the bigger the damage is going to be for every mine in the chain that explodes. That's going to be even more damage. Swift assembly support is also going to be super good. Some extra throw to throw additional mines. Charge mines, another one. I mean, mines was already good, and mines got buffed this league, so watch out for mines. Traps didn't get the same treatment as mines did, so they got kind of shafted because Saboteur got some nerfs to like life recovery if you've thrown mines or traps recently. So yeah, that's the first one. The second one that's gonna be a big winner is summoners. There's been a huge rework on summons. We got a lot better skill gems. Instead of Necromancer having all the good stuff for summons, we now have the good stuff on the skill gems themselves. So any class can be a summoner now. We can do like a Juggernaut, Skeleton, Mage summoner, and that can be viable. You're going to be really tanky, but that can be viable. So that's really cool. It's more of the Path of Exile style we had a couple of years ago, where any class could play anything. So that's really cool. We got some new mine support gems. We got Feeding Frenzy, Meat Shield, Death Mark, and Infernal Legion. And these manipulate how your minions act. So you can put like Meat Shield on some of your minions, which is gonna keep them close to you, and they're gonna be defensive, have a chance to taunt enemies. And you can put like offensive, the Feeding Frenzy on some of your minions, and the Feeding Frenzy buff is also gonna buff your defensive minions, if you call them like that. So that's a buff that your character gets, that buffs your minions with attack speed, movement speed, cast speed. I think was that, maybe damage. And then we get Death Mark, which is like a focus fire. So you can put the Death Mark on like a boss or on a rare if you want to kill that faster. The minions are going to do more damage, and they're also going to do more damage to that target. And the last one, Infernal Legion, is more for like a popcorn build where you actually kill off your summons or make huge HP zombies that burn, because the zombies are going to burn for a percentage of their life. So that's that. Next thing we got is Carrion Golem, which is a new like summon support golem. It might be even a DPS golem, we'll see. But it gains damage based on the number of summon minions you have, and it also gives your summon minions additional physical damage. It only says physical damage. So is it going to be flat or is it going to be percent? We'll see that like tomorrow when we get the skill gem. So we can't really say how good that's going to be, if it's only like a 20% increase or if it's like 50 to 100 flat. There's a huge difference between that. The next really good thing is Desecrate. Now we have no cooldown on Desecrate, and they also decreased the cast time. They did half the number of corpses you spawn, but from my experience, I mean, you don't really need all the corpses you're spawning. You just want to do them more often. So for the buffs, for the gems, for a couple of examples, I'm not gonna go over everything. Raised zombie gem used to be, I think, 4 zombies. Yeah, up to 4, I think. And now we got up to 7 zombies just on the skill gem. And there's also cooldown recovery speed for their slam attack on the skill gem. They removed the unique threshold jewel that did the cooldown reduction, so we got that on the gem now instead. Another super good thing for summoners, specters are going to be determined. The level of your specters are going to be determined by the skill gem level. So you're going to be able to scale that up super high. You might even get like 87 summons, maybe 88 summons, and they scale incredible with base damage on your specters, which that gives, and then your support gems scales from that. So that's super good. Another super good change from Dust. Instead of increasing your maximum skeletons by 2, they increase it by 4. So you don't have to use as many from Dust. Dead Reckoning, the other threshold jewel. Now you get 15 skeleton mages instead of 5 with 1. So you can go full skeleton mages with just 1 Dead Reckoning. A gem that I haven't been using when I'm doing minions, and I don't think you'll have room for it now either, is the minion speed support. It used to be 10% movement speed for your minions, and now on level 1, and now it's 25%. So it might be, I mean, if you have slow zombies, maybe use it in the beginning, but I think like Feeding Frenzy and Death Mark is going to be much better for support gems. So the next, now we're just talking about summoners in general. Necros got a huge buff as well. Necros had a lot of the like plus to specters, plus to skeletons, plus to zombies on their ascendancy tree, but they removed that and put it in the skill gems. And now Necromancer got some other stuff instead, so they just got buffed basically, since they already have it on the skill gem, and they got extra stuff as well. A couple of big ones is, we're gonna put that on the screen. A couple of big ones is Mistress of Sacrifice. Your offerings have 25% reduced effect on you, which used to be 50%, and like using Flesh Offering or Bone Offering is incredibly good. And you also now have a lot of minion duration for, say, going like what's it called, Raging Spirits. Just this node, Mistress of Sacrifice, is going to give you 70% duration on your specters or on your Raging Spirits. So that's one super good one. Mindless Aggression is another super good one that we didn't have, which is minion movement speed, attack speed, cast speed, and damage. Just a really good node in the middle. Then we got 2 other good choices that we didn't have. Bone Barrier, which is a super defensive skill. It's going to give you a lot more survivability. And then Unnatural Strength, which is, this is the Bone Barrier and this is Unnatural Strength. These were before like Spectre damage and zombie damage and an extra zombie, I think. Where was I? Unnatural Strength, yeah. So it's gonna give you +2 levels to your minion skill gems, which is insane, since all damage scales from your base damage on your skill gem. So that's really crazy. Let's see what else we got. So Plague Bringer. I mean, it's gonna be hard to choose among all your skills. I mean, Plaguebringer, sure, with at least one corpse nearby, you deal 10% more damage and you take 10% reduced damage. It's good. I mean, sure. Commander of Darkness, also really good. 30% increased damage, 20 elemental resistance, and 3% attack and cast speed. Also really good. You're probably not gonna go Essence of Glutton if you're just a caster. That's more for like Corpse Explosion build. Maybe we'll see some of that. Maybe Volatile Dead is back. We'll have to see about that. So that was the Necromancer Ascendancy, as you can see, and on top of that, which I didn't have in my document, is for summoners you get new wands now, which focus only on minion damage, or not only, but you know what I mean, like minion wands, specific wands for that. That's gonna do a lot as well. The third big winner is Assassin Poison builds. The two new skills that I'm most excited about is Cobra Lash and Venomous Gyre. I think they both look super fun to play with, especially Venomous Gyre. I think that's, yeah, I really enjoyed watching that. It looks so good. It seems to have good clear, and I think with Poison you're gonna have good single target as well. The second thing about Assassin Poison is all the like chaos, non-ailment chaos damage multipliers that we had before are now chaos damage multipliers, so they are gonna affect poison as well. For Assassin, we also got some. I mean, if you're going poison, you should go Assassin. There's so much damage. We'll take a look at that. So you still have the same like extra damage from critical strikes. You know, poison deals more damage when you've critical striked, and you also get a poison multiplier or a chaos damage multiplier. And a big thing about Assassin now is the new Mistwalker Ascendancy, which is gonna take you from being super squishy glass cannon into being actually quite tanky, I think. So it's gonna be 8% reduced damage. This is when you have elusive, and elusive you get from, on the same node, you get elusive from 50% chance when you do a critical strike. So you're gonna have that all the time as an assassin. And the buff is gonna like decay with time, and you can't refresh it. So the effect of elusive, just the elusive buff, which is movement speed, attack and dodge. I mean attack, dodge, and spell dodge. It starts off with 40% movement speed, 20% attack and spell dodge, which is gonna decrease over time until the buff disappears, and then you can apply it again. So you can't like refresh. And we'll see how much that is from the videos we've seen. It looks like it starts at like 120, 130%. That might be from some buff effectiveness, which Assassin also gets. But so the Mistwalker Ascendancy gives you 8% reduced damage taken and no extra damage taken from critical strikes. So the 8% reduced damage taken, it affects all damage types. So it's physical damage, it's elemental damage, it's damage over time, it's any damage you can think of. And the no extra damage from critical strikes, that's usually what kills you like later in the game. When you're at like 6k HP or something like that, you're gonna die from critical strikes most of the time. There's not many mobs that does 6k in a normal strike. So Assassin is going from a super glass cannon till a cannon with some defense. I'm gonna try that out as well, because I think it looks super fun. So for small winners, Ice Shot and Lightning Arrow is getting flat added damage on their skill gems. That's gonna be huge. I mean, Lightning Arrow was one of the best skills to twink level a new ranger, like power level a new ranger for yourself, which had no added damage. And if you're leveling that and using like the Tempest, which has 100% increased lightning damage, yeah, that's gonna be really stupid. And I think I think Lightning Arrow might be a really good choice for like late game as well. And using the Tempest still. I think it's going to be huge damage. We'll see about that, how that turns out. And the reason I had Raider up here is because Raider is actually getting some good changes, in my opinion, for early game. Raiders are going to be super fast into maps with like the first 2 labs or something like that. So the reason why is Quartz Infusion usually went up to, what's that, Avatar of the Veil to get some phasing and also 40% elemental damage. But they now moved the 40% increased elemental damage to this node. So you have a lot of you have a lot of good stuff there now. So you got elemental damage, you got dodge, you got phasing while at maximum frenzy, which you're always at maximum frenzy, and phasing during onslaught, and you're gonna have onslaught a lot of the time when you're gonna have onslaught all of the time when you're a raider, trust me. So that's a really good change, I think. You get that 40% increased damage much earlier, and then on Way of the Poacher, which is this one, number 2. They moved the +1 frenzy charge from Avatar of the Slaughter into Way of the Poacher, so you get that +1 frenzy charge much earlier, and that node also sustains your frenzy charges for everything. You don't need to run Blood Rage if you don't want to. And another buff in my opinion, it's a pure buff. 9 and 11, which are 2 travel nodes here, used to give you onslaught duration, which is just garbage when you have rapid assault. You're always gonna have onslaught. I mean, gain onslaught for 10 seconds on kill. I mean, how many times are you running without killing for 10 seconds? And 10% chance to gain onslaught when you hit a rare unique enemy. It's all of the time. So the onslaught duration was purely garbage, and now they changed that to onslaught effect instead. So you get an additional 30% onslaught effect from these 2 travel nodes, which is a big change actually. I mean, it's going to be a lot of increased attack and movement speed. You're not going to bother with the cast speed. So that's what they did for Raider, and I mean, it's not that a small change. I mean, there's no rework, but the numbers are much better. I'm considering this for MFing if I'm going to do any MFing. So there's a lot of builds that like got nothing and got nothing taken away, or gained some and lost some, like melee builds. The league isn't really for melee. It's kind of hard to keep all your lanes, because you're probably gonna get in the blighted maps, you're gonna get lanes from everywhere. You're gonna get them from north, south, east, and there's gonna be a lot of them. We've seen like up to 12 or something in the videos, and that's gonna be really hard to keep in track of if you're melee. But they also buffed a couple of skill gems. They buffed some Ancestral Call. So Ancestral Call on level 20 now has no damage reduction. That's a big one. They buffed Multi-Strike a bit, so you have a bit more damage with that, and stuff like that. And also, like, Soul Rend didn't get any nerf now. Bane didn't get any nerf. They tweaked. Let's call it tweaked. Let's call it nerfed. They nerfed Contagion a bit, so you lose 4 radius at max level, but it's not that big. I mean, it's no huge changes for that. So they're still good and viable builds. Cyclone got a bit nerfed, but that was super overpowered. So, but they didn't touch like Blade Flurry. Blade Flurry was great last league. So there's a lot of build like stuck in the middle, but not super good for this league. So that's why they're not on like small winners or big winners for me. Losers. The biggest loser I've seen so far is the self-casting with no option to leech mana anymore. That's just, I mean, mana potion, mana flask. That's not really what you want to do, right? I mean, you don't even want to run life flasks if you're a life build, so mana flasks, ugh, that sounds terrible. So I see that as like, if you want to go self-cast, go Eldritch Battery. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make an Inquisitor later, so I'm gonna go Eldritch Battery. totally. And they buffed Clarity up to 33 mana per second. Is that gonna be enough? I don't think so. I mean, you still wanna reserve mana. You're not gonna be, yeah, sure, if you're sitting at 1500 mana, that's gonna be enough for you. But you wanna reserve mana with your skills, with your buffs and auras, because that's such a big both defensive or offensive buff for you. So yeah, I don't really like that, I think. But sure, they had to figure out some other way to do it. But I mean, now you can just do Eldritch Battery and then go Energy Shield Leech, and you solve the problem with the Mind Over Matter, and you can reserve all your mana. So it's not really more like figure out the mana issue. It's just gonna be, I'm lazy, I'm gonna go Eldritch Battery and Mind Over Matter. That's a really good build anyway. So why not? So yeah, I'm kind of torn about that one. So that's the pointers I have so far. We haven't gotten the skill gems yet, so we can't really say like how good is Cobra Lash gonna be, how good is Spectres gonna be, which level Spectres can you get or expect to get. We haven't gotten the full passive tree yet. It's coming out very soon, but I thought I'd get this out there already, because I mean, the things I've gone through now is not gonna change. I mean, you might change your pathing a bit, but nothing of these like positives and negatives are gonna change. So that's gonna be it. I'll be coming out with build guides as soon as you get the passive tree. I'm gonna be coming out with build guides for a self-cast Inquisitor, a summoner, might do a summoner and an SRS, but I haven't decided that yet. My league start is gonna be SRS so far, from what I've seen. I enjoyed the playstyle of that, and we'll see how that works. Okay, if you guys liked the video, remember to like it and subscribe for more videos, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.